Well, let's get more on that story. We can speak now to Jon O'Brien, who is from the Washington-based group Catholics for Choice, an organisation that believes in more progressive rights for Catholics. Thanks for your time. What do you make of what the Pope is saying?
No one is praying harder for real change in the Church than Catholics themselves. The divisions between what faithful Catholics do and what the hierarchy in our Church preaches are immense. When he was speaking today about non-sexually active priests, and the Pope talked about not judging them. Certainly that's good for gay priests, but not so good for gay Catholic couples around the world who, when they want to express sexual love, are told that that's not acceptable. And they are judged, and judged harshly about their relationships. Similarly, with his comments on women today, he said that women should have a fuller role in the Church. At the same time, he ruled out women's ordination, women's call to the priesthood. He said the door was closed on that. So what we're certainly seeing is it sounds like a more compassionate Pope, but the rhetoric does not match the reality. It's business as usual, albeit with a more friendly face.
Exactly. It's the same doctrinal position in many ways, but said with a smile, isn't it? He's winning a lot of friends. He's clearly a very good communicator. Is he being realistic or practical, do you think?
Well, there's a lot that needs to change in the Catholic hierarchy, and I think Pope Francis knows that. He's a good manager. The sexual abuse scandal is still ongoing. He needs to do something about that. There's problems with the Curia, or the management of the Catholic Church. There's problems with the Vatican Bank. And certainly he's set about trying to change those difficulties. As regards the new public relations image, it's good to have a Pope that is a good communicator. And certainly the hemorrhaging of membership. Catholics are leaving the Catholic Church in places like Latin America and in Africa. So it's necessary that the public relations and that the face of the Church change. But I think Catholics are really looking for is real change. Real change is not about saying to the poor that I feel your pain. Real change is actually about changing the position, for example, on contraception. Women die because they don't have access to contraceptives. Only in June at the United Nations, in 2 different speeches under Pope Francis, the Vatican attacked sexual and reproductive health services. So it's very much business as usual, albeit with a more friendly face. This is not the type of change that Catholics want to hear. I think for journalists, very often, we want to change in the narrative. And for Catholics themselves, it's embarrassing at the water cooler in work to be confronted with yet another thing that a pope or a member of the hierarchy have said that just doesn't add up to the way people really live their lives today. But Catholics want real change, not just a pope that's photogenic.
Jon, very briefly, if you can, our correspondents are being told the Pope plans to spend August preparing big changes in the governance of the Church worldwide. How big, do you think?
I think that he really has a management problem, and I think he is serious about fixing that management problem. I think that on issues like the Vatican Bank, on the Curia, on the sexual abuse crisis, I can see him stepping up. He has certainly brought in a whole team of advisors to help clean up some of the mess. But I think that the problems will still remain within the Catholic Church. You can't have a situation in which the hypocrisy that Catholics basically don't, it's not that we don't hear what the bishops say, it's that we must follow our consciences for ourselves, for our families. We remain good Catholics, but we really do disagree with what the hierarchy say we need to be doing, because we're the ones with lives, with families, and we're the ones in the real world. And I think sometimes that's lost from the lofty heights of the Vatican.
Jon O'Brien, thank you very much.